yo, they didn't tell me what to do. I don't know. What stopped you from going to the office and ask? We went to the market and bought things to sell. Why won't you go and ask? We have to know it's an obligation. So as much, now back to the authorities. The authorities are as wrong as possible because these people you owe. For example, I know for a fact in FIRS, there's something they call taxpayer rights and obligation. There are rights taxpayer has over the tax offices, which means the tax officials are mandated to let him know or let her know. In case they did not get to let him know or let her know, I want her also to have it as her obligation or his obligation to seek to know. It is actually a dual-edged sword. Both have to seek for the knowledge.
In a state where a startup founder finds himself that there's no private organization that is concerned about following taxes like you do, how much reliance can that person have on the FIRS?
Okay, I'm going to talk not at the risk of sounding like I'm backing the government, but I want to be clear with some things. I've actually was opportune to work with the IRS, not as a staff. I went for a program in the US and I joined the Internal Revenue Service. And I also worked with the local entities. This is all done as my curiosity to further understand how things have been done. Everywhere in the world, as much as there's more information in that phase, there's always not as much information as you can think of. There's always never enough information in the law. Today, if you mistakenly steal a gold, you may go to prison for 25 years. But if you loot billions of naira, you end up be slapped in the hand with a year. Why? Because of complicities of the law. Taxes are also complicities of the law. So I want us to know one thing. Already they've cleared one line. They said ignorance of the law is never an excuse. So one of the first things I always advise all startups, before you start any business, make sure you do a little of a research to understand what are the implications. Beautiful part is most taxes are only paid after a year of starting business, which means you have a year to learn about it. Second, those tax off your office, ask the question. Talk to them in the office. Ask them, what do I need to do? Don't wait until they come looking for you with a whip and a stick. They will start shouting, yo, they didn't tell me what to do. I don't know. What stopped you from going to the office and ask? We went to the market and bought things to sell. Why won't you go and ask? We have to know it's an obligation. So as much, now back to the authorities. The authorities are as wrong as possible because these people you owe. For example, I know for a fact in FIRS, there's something they call taxpayer rights and obligation. There are rights taxpayer has over the tax offices, which means the tax officials are mandated to let him know or let her know. In case they did not get to let him know or let her know, I want her also to have it as her obligation or his obligation to seek to know. It is actually a dual-edged sword. Both have to seek for the knowledge.
Can we say that startup founders have a place in asking or holding the government accountable for the fact that they are the ones paying these taxes? Can we say that they stand a chance to ask the government what government actually uses these taxes for?
That's what I said earlier, and I'm going to keep repeating. Let's get this thing clear. For example, let's take follow taxes. We operate in 3 arms. We make sure we work with the government to know and understand how the revenue is being generated. We work with other civil societies and government organizations to understand the budget and explain to citizens how the government money is being expended, also how the budgets are planned and how they are expended. And we work with the government to track procurement. That is how finally that's the budget implementation is being done. Why do we choose this 3 track? Because one track is not enough. It's like a triangle. You can't expect good outcome of a result if you do not follow it all through. It's a simple logic. You don't expect, I'm not government, give me money now as much as I want, you want. If you did not follow to make sure I spend it judiciously, there's a very good tendency I'm going to misappropriate the funds. This is the same thing with everybody. Take this money, give it to your friend, give it to anybody else. No matter if you did not put a certain degree of monitoring, the person is going to misappropriate it. Not 100%, but there's that high tendency. There's a theory in criminology. I studied sociology in my first degree. There's a theory in criminology that believe that crime or ability to be deviant It is innate in every human being. That is, every human being is born deviant. What is a deviancy? A deviancy is deviating, changing from the norm. This is how everything should go, but you want to go the other way around. That is deviancy. Everybody that you know has a tendency of being deviant. Now, the people working in the government are not different. They are not angels from heaven. Neither are they created to be different from anybody. No, they are humans waiting also to maximize where they are. So if you give them funds and you do not track to know how the fund is being utilized, there's a high tendency that the fund will be misappropriated. Now, what do? When you pay your taxes, don't just pay. Follow the taxes, hence our name. You don't just pay your money, you follow the money to make sure that it is being done right. So when you pay your taxes, you follow your taxes. We even follow the money donated by someone, which is what we're doing, follow the money. Then why can't us follow the money we actually did pay, which is called taxes? Then we have to follow it. How do we follow taxes? Government is not like me that I have money in my pocket. I didn't decide to buy granite, but I'm working. I just turned a turn and I saw a granite and it looked yummy and I want to eat and I decide to eat the granite. Or I see suya and I want to start eating suya, even though it's not part of the budget. It doesn't work like that. For government, there has to be a breakdown budget plan of how do they intend to get the money and how they intend to spend it. So I will not understand how best the money is being expended until I know how it is being planned and how it is to be expended. So that's why it's important we work with organizations that work to understand how budget is being done. That way, we can have a better engagement on the budget. And if you can reach us to some of us, we'll explain to you. That's one of the best ways as a startup you can follow. Under the Open Government Partnership as an addition, Open Government Partnership has a window at both national level and the state level called the Ease of Doing Business. Ease of Doing Business is meant to open the processes the government is doing on how to make life easy for a startup. Now, if that is true, it's meant to how to make life easy for a startup, then all of us need to understand what are our stakes and how do we make sure we maximize? How do we make sure we get engaged? Bottom line and the result to all of this is getting involved, getting engaged, and engaging the government institutions to make sure you get the right result.